Hi there and welcome to our next video on number bounds. In this video we're going to be having a look at what number bounds are, error intervals and some examples to finish off. So let's get started. First of all, error intervals. So the definition of error intervals are the range of values between the upper and lower bounds of a number. And the precise value should be between this range. And you write the error interval just like this. You have the lower bound and you have the upper bound. The lower bound is the bound that is the lowest number which could round to that possible number, and the upper bound is the highest possible number, and anything below that will round down to the number. And these are the signs you need to use. Over here you have your letter over here in the middle, and you have the smaller than or the same as sign over here, or the smaller than sign over here. Okay, so how would we place that together? So we have four questions over here. The first one, the length of a line L centimeters is measured as 8 centimeters, correct to the nearest centimeter. Using inequalities, write down the error interval for L. So we have the letter always goes in the middle, and we always have our signs over here. And L, we know it's 8 centimeters, and this has been rounded to the nearest centimeter. So it's, if we, what's the smallest possible number we can have that would round to 8, and it can be the same as that number or anything bigger. It would be 7.5, because 7.5 would round to 8, and anything above it but below 8 would round to 8. So what would be the upper bound? It has to be strictly less than a number. It would be 8.5, because 8.5 would round to 9. Anything less than 8.5, as you can see there's no line underneath this sign, this means it's strictly less than 8.5, and that would be the error interval for this question. The number is 7.5. It's equal to or greater than 7.5, but strictly less than 8.5. Okay, this question now. Amelia rounds a number y to one decimal place. The result is 2.8. Write down the error interval for y. So over here we have our letter in the middle, we have our signs as normal, and over here we need the lower bound and we need the upper bound over here. So we know that our number is 2.8. If we were rounding, this has been rounded to one decimal place, so what number could be the lowest possible number rounded to one decimal place would be 2.8. Well, it would be 2.75, because 2.75 would round to 2.8, and anything less than 2.8 but greater than 2.75 would round to 2.8 as well. So we have figured out our lower bound. What is our upper bound then? 2.8 would be 2.85, because 2.85 would round to 2.9. Anything strictly less than 2.85 would round to 2.8, and that would be our error interval. Next question, Josh rounds a number n to two decimal places. The result is 70.61. You need to write down the error interval for n. So we put our letter in the middle, we have n, and we have our signs as normal, and we know that n over here is 70.61. We need to find the lower bound, and we need to find the upper bound. So 70.61, the lower bound would be 70.605, because that would round to 70.61, and anything less than 70.61 would round by using this number. So 70.605 would be our lower bound, and our upper bound would be 70.615. It has to be strictly less than this number, and that would be our error interval. Next question, the length L of a piece of wood is 123 millimeters, correct to the nearest millimeter. Write down the inequality to show the error interval for I. So we have I, a letter in the middle, we have our same signs, and we know that I is 123 millimeters, and this is to the nearest millimeter. So if our lower bound would be over here and upper bound would be over here, and so our lower bound would be 122.5, upper bound would be 123.5, and that would be our error interval for this question. Okay, now our final question is this: having been rounded to the nearest 10, a score is given as 40. Which of the following gives the correct error interval for S? So to the nearest 10 this is. So we have S and we have our signs. We know S is going to be 40, and we need our lower bound and we need our upper bound. So remember, it's being rounded to the nearest 10. So what is the lowest possible number that rounded to the nearest 10 would get you 40? Well, it clearly would be 35, because 35 would round to 40. Anything less than that would round to 30. So it would be 35 and it would be 45. And we have two of those with the same numbers over here: 35, 35, 45, 45. Remember the signs, we have this sign and this sign, so our correct answer would be D. In the description box below, there's a link to a quiz which you can have a go at. In our next video, we're going to be having a look at some exam questions to do with number bounds. But for now, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. And one last thing, please subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell.